watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets, just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she slide and tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that on. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole, I'm beating it down. I'm back in that bag again. Whoa, whoa. Oh, say less. I'm back in that bag again. Yeah, yeah.
Card magic, am I right? Now, it's no secret that I love card magic, but I'm actually not that good at card magic. You know who is really good at card magic? Ricky Jay. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the fine magic of Ricky Jay. If you don't know who Ricky Jay is, he was an American magician, unfortunately passed away in 2018, but still remains one of the greatest sleight of hand technicians to ever have lived. And we're going to be viewing some of his fine work. Now, before we dive into his work, check out today's magic trick. Right, today's trick is about serial killers, baby. Look at these cold-hearted, bloody murderers. That's why they're red, you see that? Now, of course, the authorities are catching on to these guys. 3 cops are dispatched to each location to try and find these killers, these cold-blooded murderers. Yeah, check it out. This one here, John Wayne Gacy. That's what the J stands for. It stands for John Wayne Gacy. The police come in. They're like, "Oi, get on the ground!" But little do they know, John Wayne Gacy is already gone. He slipped the authorities lightning quick. The next one over here, Justin Bieber, a murderer of eardrums. Check him out, Justin Bieber. He's a sneaky, cunning one, you see? All he does is he faces away from them. They think he's still there, but he goes Gucci Gucci goo to one of the officers and he switches places. He's already gone. Justin Bieber has escaped the clutches of the authorities. Up next here, we got Jason Ma. That's me. I'm a cold-blooded murderer, apparently. Check it out, though. I'm already gone. You see that? Slick as butter. I already disappeared. Of course, where do we go? We rendezvous back at the hideout. Obviously, this is Justin Bieber's hideout because he's the richest of the lot of us. But check it out. They're all back together again. And that is day number 81. I like that trick. It's a lot of fun. Of course, Ricky Jay does it a heck of a lot better. I just like to have a bit of a goof with it, you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as sleight of hand technicians go, Ricky Jay was easily one of the greatest of all time. He was a goat, baby, a goat. Now, before we take a look at this man's insane magic skills, make sure that you smash the like button and then keep smashing it. Smash that like button forever and then subscribe if you haven't already, yeah? I gotta say it, otherwise nobody does it, all right? Now, let's dive into the fine magic of Ricky Jay. First things first, Ricky Jay. All right, here he is. The man, the myth, the legend. All right, and the first thing we want to look at is this. Now, I remember seeing this video. Now, it's 15 years old. You have to remember that. So the quality's not crazy. However, you will still be able to see just how much of a master this man is. Check it out, man. Ricky Jay, master card manipulator. Even just the way he's shuffling cards there, beautiful. Elegant. I would say that that deck is thoroughly mixed. Oh, fancy. Two of spades, 3 of spades, 4 of spades, and the 5 of spades, all in different areas of the deck. Woohoo! So smooth, man. He's so slick. Catches it in the middle of the deck. Let me guess, 4 and 5. Boom, baby. Found all of them immediately. But it doesn't stop there. Damn. They're just finding everything. So he just found the entire suit of spades from a shuffled pack. And the rest of the deck in complete numerical order. Look at that. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now I will say it looks like this was filmed on a potato because this was filmed like 15, 16 years ago. Still incredible regardless. Man, that's some old footage. But that right there is like just an example of his skills, yeah? What I want to show you is some of his fine card work, and an example of that is the routine that I did at the very start of this video. He does it, but I think it's the best version of the McDonald's Aces that I've ever seen, period. Check this out.
Its own classics, its own genres. I'm going to start my show tonight by doing the same effect in 3 different ways. First, in the flashy American style.
So
you'll all
smooth.
remember from the 1970s.
Look at that.
Well on my way to the luckiest night of my life. Now the same effect as you might have seen
He's
it
so
performed
smooth.
by a European. Ooh,
Boom.
an old Meters tune, Just Kissed My Baby, going back for number 2.
Look at that.
Think about how much better this might look with a frilly shirt or a bow tie. Think about how much better I might look.
Wow. So smooth.
Now the same effect as you might have seen if
You
performed in
know,
a drawer.
I still can't imagine what it would be like because they didn't have like cameras and it being displayed on a screen back then. So these people sitting in a theater are just watching this dude from like 20 meters away, flipping out cards. Like their eyesight must be insane compared to today's standard because, oh man.
Drawing room very much like this one at the turn of the century. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall endeavor to illustrate and show how futile are the attempts of plebeians to enter that select circle of society known as the beau monde, and indeed to show how such entree is prevented by the polite yet frigid exclusiveness of its gentler members. Let us assume it is the occasion of a public reception. Our table the hall, our deck the common herd, and we would fittingly select the 4 queens.
You know, like some people are just too educated that it's just hard. It's like they're speaking a different language, man. Like this guy is just...
as representing the feminine portion of the smart set. Now, as would naturally be the case, I shall besiege these high-strung patrician ladies with attentions from the lower orders, which these next 12 cards shall represent. I shall start by placing 1, 2, 3 commoners on Her Majesty the Queen of Hearts. The next 3 outsiders on the Queen of Diamonds. And though the mention or notice of all these suitors is equally abhorrent to the grand dames, I shall treat them alike by placing on the Queen of Spades 1, 2, 3 more rank outsiders. Finally, the last 3 who have been closest to the bottom, therefore least crowding and most deserving to proffer their homage on the Queen of Clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have seen, I have brutally taken advantage of these tenderly nurtured and unsophisticated young creatures by placing them in positions which must be extremely galling to their aristocratic sensibilities. Can they endure? Can they endure? Yes. Indeed they can. Having some knowledge of the subtlety, resources, and finesse of the sex, I feel confident.
Dude, I would get exhausted trying to remember patter like this. There's just so much going on. It's like he's a walking thesaurus. He's deliberately chosen every single word that isn't commonly used. It's insane.
These women can, with tact and discretion, easily elude their persecutors and form a more congenial coterie amongst themselves. Watch first the Queen of Clubs. Watch her as she turns her back on the suitors and then goes to Windsor for the weekend. Next, the Queen of Spades, slightly more daring than the others, tantalizes the men, Gucci, Gucci, goo. Amidst their consternation, makes good her escape. The Queen of Diamonds knows the aphorism, it's easiest to disappear in a crowd. Now you see her, and alas, now you do not. Or, as I suggested only a moment ago, is it possible these women could seek out each other's company? The fatal vanity of the sex could prove me correct. That's one, that's two, that's three.
Insane. So well done. His handling is so slick. I mean, how smooth is that, man? His handling, he even does little subtleties that you wouldn't even think of, where he like flashes the backs of the cards, but like not like to show them, kind of just like almost accidentally to help convey that they're normal cards and stuff. It's a really beautiful way that he presents it, and he has these natural mannerisms to the way that he's handling the cards, which make the whole illusion just tenfold stronger. It's so crazy, man. Now, the next thing that I want to show you of his is his version of the cups and balls. I've been doing cups and balls myself now for 11 years. It's like my bread and butter. It's how I make, I would say, truthfully, 80% of my income is because of that trick. So I'll show you his version, because I think his version his handling is phenomenal. Let me show you.
Treatise on conjuring in the English language, and in it he spoke about putting a ball under a common object, like a candlestick. He also said one might use a salt cellar, a bowl, or even a cup, and if the conjurer was clever, he could make the ball vanish and appear almost at will. Only a short time later, the game was played with bowls of china, played in the Orient. Anthropologists love the concept of independent invention. In Western Europe, it was played with cups of cheap metal.
So he's doing it again, that mannerismic behavior where he's kind of just holding these objects nonchalantly, but he's inadvertently tricking your mind at the same time, which is fascinating, because the way he's doing it, it's not deliberate. Like, he's not like, hey, check it out, this is a normal deck of cards. No, he's just nonchalantly handling these things. But in the process of doing so, he's hiding something, but making it seem like there's nothing to hide, which convinces you that he's completely innocent in this situation. He's just simply explaining the history of the cups and balls, it's crazy when you think about it.
Tin, which on occasion had the strange ability to seem penetrable. This evening I'm going to use cups of spun copper, personal favorites for a reason I will not reveal. One of the things I love about this game is it independently exists in the genre of the gambler as well as the magician. This is a scene you may remember as the old three-shell game. On the English race course, it was called thimble rigging. In the language of the hustler, it might be known as the hinks, the dinks, the blocks, or the nuts. The idea that you'd either put a ball or pretend to put a ball under one of the cups, but the ball would appear where it was least.
See, that's that nonchalant handling. It's like you might have thought you caught him out there. You might be like, yeah, I saw him put a ball in a specific spot, and yet he's still able to kind of like misdirect your attention again. It's like, whew.
Once again, if I place the ball over here and I move this, moving these cups, you might think the ball was here, but it jumps to over here. One last time. This is why people have been known to lose houses and even clothing playing this little game. One last time, if I place the ball here and move that to here, the ball now jumps as well. Now, a conjurer would do this in a slightly different fashion. The conjurer would take the object, put it in his hand, make it vanish using a magic wand. Conjurers also cheat. They use many of these. Actually, the game was traditionally played with 3 cups and 3 balls. I'm going to show you an actual sequence of events from a 17th century bestseller called Hocus Pocus Jr. The idea here that
it's
I will
all true,
cover
by the
the
way.
ball with a cup and place one on top. Then I'll actually cover this and try to make the ball penetrate solid through solid, joining its mate, blood. Now that you know the sequence, why don't you follow it again? This time a ball penetrating through 2 solid copper cups. This method, a personal favorite of Matthew Buchinger, the little man of Nuremberg. He was only 28 inches tall. The cups obscured almost his entire body. Look, that's enough for 3 balls to appear below. Matthew Buchinger had no arms or legs. but he did have 14 children. The most famous man to ever play the game, the Italian Bartolomeo Bosco. Bosco appeared in the beginning of the 19th century. He cut an unusual figure on stage. He wore a black satin waistcoat, black velvet trousers. He made sure his sleeves were carefully rolled up. He took out his magic wand and polished the tip. A wand which he said was
I'm
made
getting
of a strange
so enthralled.
amalgam of metals known only to himself and Erasmus of Rotterdam. Above his table was a brass bell. He hit the bell and said the words, Spiritai in infernali obedite, infernal spirits obey my command. Bosco's sequence with the cups and the balls.
Personal favorite sequence of mine as well.
Vade. Jubio. Celerator. 3 gone, and yet 3 return. Bosco had only one contemporary rival, the slightly older Frenchman named Conus, who in 1795 announced that he would make his wife, who was 5'7", appear under one of the cups. Practice though I have been unable even to get married.
Brilliant.
Wouldn't even touch these with his hand. Actually, he said the only reason a magician used 3 was to confuse you. So he took 1 ball and placed that aside in his pocket. He took the 2nd ball and also placed that away. It still left 1 ball over here, but it didn't explain how this ball came back. Conus explained it. He said the magician did a feint. He only pretended to take the ball. Actually, what he did was to pretend, put his hand back, and then insinuate the ball under the cup. Conus said, I do no such thing. When I place the ball in my pocket, it really stays there. How could it come back, and indeed where? Perhaps back to the 16th century.
See what I mean?
Many of you may prefer the game the way it was played in the Orient, with 2 balls and 2 balls.
So
you might
good.
prefer the European version with 3 cups and 3 balls. And if you have been paying attention, you know there would be 1 ball under the center cup, but now there are 3. And that's the way the game was played for another 120 years, until it was revolutionized once again by Max Malini, the man I spoke of earlier. Malini would take 3 glasses and wrap them in newspaper. He would take a cork from a wine bottle and cut it into 3 sections. He would take the 3 sections of cork and place them in his pocket. Then, fashioning an impromptu wand out of a celery stalk or an asparagus spear, he would tap the glasses and say, Spiritai mihi infernali obedite, or anything else that came to mind. And that's the mystery of the cups.
Boom. Huge. What a great presentation. I like that there's this whole callback to the very beginning of the history, right? With the balls appearing underneath all of the items that he mentioned earlier. And that's what I'm talking about. If you go back and watch that now, you'll be able to see that his nonchalant handling of those objects, he was secretly setting up for a finale that was, in my opinion, kick-ass. Totally kick-ass. Man, Ricky Jay, huh? An old school magician who does classic effects and does them perfectly. Like his handling, his mannerisms, just there's so many key aspects to just his whole personality that tie very beautifully into the way he presents his magic. I can't get over it, man. Anyway, most of those clips were from his show 52 Assistants. If you want to check it out, I recommend you search it up on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below as well. It's worth taking a look. It's a brilliant show. It goes for, I think, 55 minutes. It's a really good act. I think it was like my introduction to like drawing room style magic or parlor magic. And I gotta say, man, being able to just entertain a room full of people with just very small props like cups and cards and things of that nature, a whole entire theater just absolutely loving it. And he does it with just such simple props, but it's not really the props that are adding any value to it. It's all him. The way he speaks, the storytelling, all of it. It's just a beautiful thing to experience and it's inspiring. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the magic of Ricky Jay, and And if you have any suggestions for any other magicians you want to see, let me know, because I'm enjoying reacting to a lot of these goats. Ricky J, a special treat. I really enjoyed that video. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for day number 82.
Call me Bucky, lucky that I'm innocent. If I didn't have no mobiles, I'd be menacing.